All right, Jim, well, let's get another one here. This is from the Cult of Cornette Facebook group by Anthony Scaldo
A Go Go?
Anthony Scaldo, I believe this would be. And there's a picture attached here. Recently, a friend's father passed away at age 80. As my friend and his brothers were growing up and discovering wrestling, their dad told them that when he was in Catholic high school, in the 1950s, Killer Kowalski made an appearance and spoke to his class about pro wrestling. After his dad passed, my friend was sorting through his old photos.
Oh, no.
And found this gem. It is Killer Kowalski hanging with the class. And there's a priest also there in the middle. I believe it would be a priest. This sparked a memory of mine, too. When my dad was in a similar Catholic school, he told me that Vern Gagne made an appearance and handed out autograph photos. My dad never liked wrestling and gave his photo to a nun that wasn't there that day. Anyway,
Vern was big with the nuns.
Anyway, I was wondering why this seemed to be a common practice back in the old days. Was this how wrestlers promoted shows, by getting the kids excited? And they would ask their parents to take them? Was this to recruit athletes? Thanks, love the shows.
Well, I mean, again, wrestlers going to talk to kids at a school is obviously not a new thing, but it's not outrageous. I mean, you know, there was a time in the territory days when the promoters wanted, and I don't know when Killer Kowalski might have been the top babyface. Maybe that was when he went on the vegetarian and religious sabbatical from wrestling or whatever.
I think this is before then because, you know, based on the way he looks and how, like, his face and his hair.
How giant he is. He's still big, thick.
And he's got hair. He still has hair. Yeah.
Well, he was always a nice fella, but the promoters would want the baby faces in the territory to go and be seen and be, you know, loved by the fans, the population, the people in the towns. Maybe there was a wrestling fan at the school. A principal might have been a fan. Hey, they'd call the office and say, could Vern Gagne, the cleanest living athlete in the world, come down and speak to our fine school of, you know, kids or whatever? And occasionally, or maybe because Vern was so hooked up with, you know, the community shit because he was the owner, that he might have had a friend that was running the school. But I mean, all those things, you would see hospital visits that usually there'd be pictures, or, you know, assemblies of schools, they'd speak, or they would be at the local ball games. Another good example is the Boys Ranch that, you know, Eddie Graham brought it to Florida because Dory Sr. and Cal Farley in Amarillo had done the Boys Ranch thing, where that was a home for underprivileged or at-risk or troubled kids that they would try to straighten them out, teach them trades or whatever. And they were always heavily involved in that. It's the same thing now on not really a local level, but John Cena doing all the Make-A-Wishes. Or, you know, you see the WWE talent when they're in a town, often going to visit some kid in a hospital or some local charitable function. It's the same thing. It's just, it's not territory by territory anymore. It's the national stars. But that's not unusual.
Well,
it would have been unusual if, like, Don Fargo had been asked to go talk to the kids at school.
But it wasn't something you as a promoter for, like, Smoky Mountain Wrestling saw as a priority. Like, you know, we need someone to set up appearances for the wrestlers at schools.
Well, we were trying to get them appearances at the spot shows at the, you know, at the schools. And yeah, if you book a spot show, we can send somebody by to speak to, and we did. If we had a show in a school and it was close enough to where the guys were going by that day, or close enough to the home base of the weekend, where they would go over and appear and talk to them every so often. But, you know, that was to help drum up interest in that particular town. It wasn't like we had bigger fish to fry before we could just worry about, hey, go out and spread goodwill and cheer across the community.
All right, well, maybe you didn't want to spread cheer throughout the community, but one thing that would make the community more cheerful would be if everyone in the community had a box of awesome delivered right to them.
Well, you know what? I did. You hear that?
What is that?
That is my latest box of awesome. I waited to take this thing because I wanted to share this with you, Brian. You and I are real close. We're so close, sometimes I'm coming out the other side of you.
We're good friends.
We're very good friends.
We're good friends.
And I wanted to share this with you because good friends share good times with each other. And, you give me a good time, and then later on, I'll give you a good time.
Well,
that's
no,
the way it works.
That's not the way it works, but I am curious. What did you get with your box of awesome here?
Well, I'll open it up, and I'll tell you, because...
Do you have a box cutter or anything?
Well, I've already cut the top of it.
Oh.
But I didn't open everything else. But on the top of the box...
So we're starting with a lie. That's what you're saying.
Well, what? I'm opening the box now. I've cut it open, but I'm opening the flaps now, and I'm taking out the stuff that's still sealed in the interior boxes.
Okay.
And this is what's in my box I got from the Rustic Bakery, and they are located in Petaluma, California, 94954, I'll have you know, rusticbakery.com. They have sent me a box of olive oil organic sourdough flatbread bites. And I have a feeling and they're non-GMO verified and USDA organic. And I have a feeling I'm not going to get to eat these because if sourdough is involved, because of its relationship to the golden state of California. Stacy often appropriates these things for me, but they've got a picture of it. You're using these sourdough flatbread bites with this lovely looking creamy dip. But the dip is not in the box. You got to get your own dip.
What were you talking about? The relationship with people from California and sourdough?
Sourdough bread's the biggest thing in San Francisco. What's the matter with you, boy? Ain't you got no book learning?
I thought crime was the biggest thing in San Francisco.
No, it's sourdough bread and then crime.
People keep robbing people's car to steal the sourdough bread?
Yes, that's what they're breaking in for. It's so goddamn good. She used to work at Bodine's, the big sourdough place down there. Their dough's so fucking sour, you'll be puckered for weeks. But anyway, from the Rustic Bakery in Petaluma, and then here is something. I'll tell you, I'm having to lean over here to get in this box of awesome. Here is something. I got my own brown nosing kit right here. Wait a minute, I'm sorry, correction, to scratch that. It's a bourbon nosing kit. I misread it. I don't have my glasses on. But you know, Brian, your nose needs to be trained to find the nuances in bourbon. And we're the kings, the overlords down here, the center of the market of the bourbon industry here in Kentucky. So you got to nose your bourbon. And what this does, as a matter of fact, you open up this box, and it's got a quote from Mark Twain, who also went by the name Samuel Clemens, from what I've heard.
Well, the other way around, but yeah.
Well, sometimes he went by it. Too much of anything is bad, but too much good whiskey is barely enough. That's what he said. And so what you do here, what they've got here, you see, on this kit, is they've got the various implements or ingredients that's in bourbon. You got your oak, you got your caramel, your cherry, your black pepper, your brown sugar, and you nose these. Oh, yeah. That smells like corn. You nose these things so that you can identify. What are you talking about? Now, here's the thing of oak. See, it's got chips of. See, that smells like oak. And that way,
I want to do this.
That scent.
It's not fair that you're doing this. I want to do this too.
Hold on. This one is.
Hold on.
Black pepper here. Can't get to.
That's going to make All right. Well, you'll be sneezing all over these amazing products that are sent to you.
Well, wait a minute. Now, hold on. That's not all. You get all kinds of stuff in a box of awesome. That's why it's awesome. Let me put this down here by the side here. I feel like I'm Johnny Carson doing a bit on the desk. Now, always a big box inside the box. Hold on.
Open it. Don't wrestle it. What are you doing?
Well, also, see, I can nose my bourbon and get the nose for the bourbon while I'm eating the olive oil organic sourdough flatbread bites. And then as I open this box here, and the flap then there's some foam. It's very well wrapped. And it's a brick of styrofoam. Oh, and inside, son of a gun, 2 bourbon tasting glasses and a glass stirrer. Hear that?
You're going to break something. Can you stop?
From Maison Farine. Maison Farine. I don't know if that's a person from France or a company.
What are you, farting? What is going on over there?
I picked up the box. It's got little places you put the straw, the stirrer, the glass stirrer back in the thing, and the tasting glasses, and then you put the brick of styrofoam over the top of it, and they won't get broken that way. So I'm all fixed up for nosing out some bourbon and eating some crackers.
All right. Well,
but that's what folks.
You can get all sorts of things, not just that, but all sorts of things.
Not all that. You can get that if you want, or you can get something that's all that.
You can get with this, or you can get with that.
You can get with this, or you can get with that, or you can get with the other thing. From camping gear essentials to cocktail upgrades and cozy threads, Box of Awesome has collections for every part of your life. You go to boxofawesome.com and you take the quiz, because they'll tell you, or you'll tell them, what you're interested in, and then they'll tell you what they're going to send you, and you're going to like it with a smile on your face. And they release new boxes every month across a ton of different categories of interest, genres, and each box is valued at around $70, but you only pay a fraction of that price because they know people, and they get you hooked up with discounts. Some of this stuff fell off a truck.
None of this stuff fell off a truck.
Well, it didn't get damaged.
None of this stuff fell off a truck, and of course, not damaged, as we just heard from your playing with glass.
Yes, they're wrapped very well, and 90% of everything that comes in your Box of Awesome is from a small up-and-coming brand. So a lot of these small up-coming brands use small trucks. It's easier for things to fall off. But you're supporting small businesses, as far as they know, when you cooperate with this. It's free to sign up. You can skip a month, cancel anytime. Right now, get 20% off your first monthly box when you sign up at boxofawesome.com and enter the code DRIVE, D-R-I-V-E, at checkout. Boxofawesome.com, the code DRIVE, 20% off your first box, wrapped well, filled with fun items that you can eat or drink with, or potentially, I don't know, butcher things with. They got knives. If you want to cut somebody.
No, if you want to cut through some sourdough bread, or
you want to cut somebody off your Christmas list by buying them a knife set or whatever.
That's right.
That's what I was trying to say. Boxofawesome.com. The code is DRIVE.
That doesn't even make sense. You're going to cut them off your Christmas list by giving
Cross them off, cut them off, whatever you cross. See, I just take scissors and cut people's names off the list when I've got their gift.
You go down? I mean, otherwise it would be kind of a mess if you're not going down.
Well, it does at some point look like a magazine page that a ransom note has been written out of, but...
Box of Awesome, ladies and gentlemen.
Code DRIVE.
Code DRIVE. Check them out.